Welcome back. Welcome back. By the way, guys, I made the biggest mistake of my career. I didn't press the record button, and we didn't get to record Jesus's magic. So we all saw it in person, but that was it. So was there anybody in a small group that was with someone who was really like, wow, this person's really good at this, and they want to share? I'm not going to make anybody else do it, but somebody want to just talk about someone else that was in the room? Yes, Alan.
Hey, good morning. This is Alan. I was in a room with Michael Perez and Kayla Martinez. Kayla did a really good job of keeping the conversation going. She was involved in both conversations. I was observer at first for the first round, and she was very comfortable continually branching off the response to keep the conversation going. Their conversation was about spring break plans. So after Michael spoke his piece, there was a certain ebb and flow. And then going into our conversation where I spoke with Kayla, we spoke on how we feel about the L&D phase so far. And we both had a point of relation in terms of time away from the classroom setting. And she was very comfortable at that point sitting on that topic, but not feeling like it was stuck. There was still a sense of flow to her conversation, which is really good.
Wow, awesome. Sounds like you all had a great breakout. I'm happy to hear. Thank you, Alan. Jason?
Me and my partner Daniel, we actually had a very good conversation. Me and him have MMOs in common, so we begin to talk about MMOs such as BDO, closures, and other games we thought was interesting, and how we hate pay to win mechanics.
So you guys have some common ground, huh? It's pretty cool. Awesome, awesome. So anybody want to take a stab at why do we think we start off our time doing this in terms of customer service? What does this have to do with customer service, talking about spring break plans and games that we like and going to the park and hanging out with our friends? Yeah, Izzy.
Good morning, everybody. I think this is a good exercise that we do this because we have to get used to talking to people one-on-one, especially when it comes to customers. When they engage with you about their personal life, you have to also engage with them in the same way so you can keep their interest.
Yeah, absolutely. And really being a person that can, have a conversation with someone, really listen to understand, get to the root of the problem is really important. Yeah, David, what would you add?
I also feel like it limits like any awkward moments or tension between you and the customer, and then the fact that you guys are able to build a bond makes it an even greater experience for the customer. Personally, when I feel like if I'm calling for like customer service and I'm on the customer end, if I feel like I connect with the person who's helping me, I don't know why, but I just feel like I'm being like helped better, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. So we're going to go ahead and put this into practice. We're going to go back into our same rooms. This time, one person is going to be the customer. One will be tech support. One will be the observer. The problem is the customer's wireless mouse is not working. Okay. The reason why their wireless mouse is not working is because they have the USB plugged into the HDMI. All right. So you have to figure out why it's not working on the phone with them. And you have to help them understand, hey, it's plugged into the wrong port, and help them find the right port on their machine using active listening. Yeah, you guys are laughing at this, but this is going to be some of the calls you're going to get. All right. I'm being honest. They're going to call and say, my thing's plugged in. I don't know why it's not working. So one person's the customer, the one who plugs in to the wrong port. One person is customer support, trying to ask those good questions and listen. And the other person is the observer. And why don't we go ahead and take 3 minutes on this, and then we'll come back to the main room. Sound good? Any questions? All right. Remember, guys, patience is a virtue. All right, customer service people, be patient. Treat the customer as you would your grandma. All right, enjoy. Okay, welcome back. Anybody want to raise a hand and share a positive experience they had or a challenge they had or what that was like for them? Yes, let's hear from Tyrell.
Good morning, everyone. I was in a group with Jorge and Izzy, and Izzy was the IT help desk, and he did a really great job of acknowledging the person's problem, taking his time to help the person without being frustrated. And he was very, like I said, he was patient, took his time, super helpful.
Excellent. Great job, Izzy. Thank you, Tyrell. Audrey?
For me, it was really hard to be the IT help desk support because I don't like talking in the phone. I'm very shy, so I always try to avoid it. So it was my turn to be the IT help desk support. So one thing that I found really challenging was just thinking of the things that I was going to ask the person, looking for the right words, trying to just help them out the best that I could with my words, because sometimes you get really nervous, so the words won't come out. So I feel that that was just really challenging for me.
I appreciate your transparency. I mean, we were all in this program here at Year Up to grow and to stretch ourselves and to challenge ourselves. So I'm glad that you're aware of an area you want to grow in, and that's great to hear that you're improving. So glad to hear that. Eli?
Yeah, I was in a group with Melvin and Henry, and I was IT help. It was good. I really liked how they would throw me like curveballs too, like not just keep it like straightforward, always just my mouse and I didn't plug it in right. But it was also like a challenge because since we already know what the problem is, I have to keep the conversation going in order to help them. But overall, it's a good experience.
Good, good. I'm glad. Thank you. Davian, I think your hand was next.
Yeah, I was in a group with Joshua and Kaisha, and Joshua was in the role of like the support. And I feel like he did a very good job of remaining patient throughout the whole conversation. And Kaisha was really throwing him like curveballs and like actual real world scenarios and like
Right.
which we would encounter. And just like his patience throughout it and like how attentive and helpful he was. I think he did really good on that. So I just wanted to commend him for that.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Davian, Rashi, last comment, then we're going to move on.
I was in a group with Franklin and Togru, and I kind of needed a lot of it was kind of weird for me because having a hard time explain that the USB was plugged into the HDMI, and Franklin made it real difficult, and it was a little hard for me to keep my patience because he kept saying like I don't know what an HDMI is and I don't know how to deal with that. And so then I tried like Togru gave me some like advice on like how to just describe it maybe and describe like the ports to try to give Franklin a better understanding. So that's something I could work on probably.
Excellent, Rashi. Great observation. There's a term that's used in the workforce, and it's called the curse of knowledge. The curse of knowledge. If you don't know what that means, it means when you become so proficient at something, you forget that you at one time were a beginner, and you forget what it's like to be a beginner. There are people that you say to them HDMI, like, what the heck is that? Are you like speaking another language? You don't know what you're talking about. You say port, they don't know what you're talking about. You know, you say USB, they don't know what you're talking about because they're just not proficient in computers like you are as a tech support person. When I was in high school, I actually worked at a summer camp where we taught kids how to skateboard. And I was a pretty good skateboarder, and I would sometimes get frustrated with the kids that were in our camp. So I'm like, come on, just do it. What's the big deal? I remember the director said to me one time, you know, I skateboard with my left foot forward. He said, hey, Eric, why don't you try doing that exact same trick, but do the opposite with your right foot forward? It was really, really hard because I was not used to it. It's the same with the curse of knowledge, right? It's like you're so used to doing something over and over again that you forget not everyone has the same institutional knowledge that you do. So being patient, speaking to them like it's the first time they ever heard it, because maybe it is, really does go a long way. But it's hard for us to do when we're professionals at something. So good, really good feedback. We got to keep going really quickly. We'll hear from Jason, then Franklin.
Something that I did in my group was instead of like naming HDMI port, because I know the person may or may not know what it is, I tried to ask them to recall where they plugged it in.
Yeah.
Because it'll be more relatable for them to understand where it is rather than it's in the HDMI port or is the light on the mouse on, because our mouses have lights on them. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that, Jason. Speaking a language they understand, really, really helpful. Excellent. And Franklin, last comment?
Yeah, I did my best to make it not too complicated, but as a customer, I have as a worker, as a person that previously working in customer service, I have dealt with a lot of different people, and I know how to. I kind of learn how to assimilate the behavior. So and the reason I did that is because, listen, there's gotta be some difficult people in IT.
Yep.
Especially with the phone, there's gonna be some difficult people to deal with, and we're gonna need to have that mindset, because the mindset of being patient, because we are gonna be dealing with those people, and some of those people are gonna have a bad attitude, and they're gonna be, I don't know this, I don't know you, why don't you do your job, So for experience, that's why I did my best to make it hard, not just completely easy. There's some customers that will know what you're talking about. There's some that won't. It really depends. But yeah, that's why I tried to. That's why I made it really hard for a friend.
Yeah. So now everyone knows that they don't want Franklin as a pretend customer, because he's going to make it hard on you. So thanks for that. All right. I want to give one quick announcement, then we'll go ahead and take our 5-minute break. Thank you for everyone who submitted your ERG. Just so we're all on the same page, there's some of you might get like a 5 out of 6 or a 4 out of 6 or a 3 out of 6. You might feel like, wait, what? That's not fair. I worked really hard on this. I just want to give you an idea of like one of your colleagues who created a perfect, ERG, and this is what like 100% looks like. So like this is one that your colleague did. Take a look at this. Look at the colors, look at the text. Clearly this person put a lot of time into this, right? As a reference. Like this is 100% for an ERG. Where are we? In room 33A. Here's the dad, the daughter. The dad's thinking about a million things. The daughter's thinking about the flowers, right? It's really, really well done. So with that being said, when is it? Fridays and Saturdays. So some of you might look at your grade and think, what? I only got a 4 out of 6. I only got a 5 out of 6. This is what a 6 out of 6 looks like. And I was grading some of it this morning, and some of you, like this person here, took a lot of time to make it the best it can be. And some people was like, it looked like someone, you put together in, a few seconds. So just want to encourage you, take your time, do the best you can. But great job to our colleague, Michael, on doing an awesome ERG. And that's what 100% looks like. With that said, let's come back at 11:15. Thanks. All right, folks, it's 11:15. We can make our way back on screen. All right, for our last 30 minutes of class, we're going to go ahead and discuss PowerPoint. Can you just give me a green check if you feel very confident in your PowerPoint abilities, or your red X where you feel kind of clueless? Let's see where the class is at.
What if we're like in between?
Okay, if you're in between, give me an orange.
I'll give you a thumbs up for in between.
Yeah, there you go. No, there is no orange sign. If you're in between, you're probably a green. Here's the thing is that like when you go to internship, you're not going to be creating PowerPoints most likely. That's not going to be a regular part of your job. So you don't spend a whole lot of time talking about it, but it's good to know at least the basics of PowerPoint. So since I see a lot of green checks, a lot of thumbs up, we'll make this more of a conversation than an actual lesson. The very first thing I want to hit on is themes. So if someone says the theme of this PowerPoint, what's that person referring to? What's the theme in the PowerPoint? Yeah, Davian?
Yeah. Is it like the topic?
That's part of it, but like I'm talking more to the like design. Joshua?
Would it be like your first slide that introduces your PowerPoint?
So the theme is essentially like the font, the colors, all of these things. It should be consistent in a PowerPoint. So yeah, it's the first slide. It's also the topic. But the way it works is I'll go ahead and pull up mine quick. Got all these tabs open. Apologize for that. So like, if I understand not everybody's going to have the same PowerPoint that I do, but when I pull up, PowerPoint, I can pick a theme here of which one do I want to do. So let's suppose I'm going to do, one that's supposed to be very, which one of these looks nice. This looks kind of cool. So I click on this. Can you guys still see that okay?
Yeah.
Great, thank you. But you see here how like this font, Georgia Pro Conlight 80, Speak Pro, this font, Speak Pro. So basically what we're seeing here is the font for the headings is this particular one, and the font for the the subtext is this particular one. You want that to remain consistent through your whole presentation. You don't want to have different random text. Like you don't want to say, all right, let me go ahead and just change it to, oh, I like this font. Like, why does that look wrong? Like, these fonts are actually kind of similar, but you don't want to have two different fonts on the same slide. Why is that not a professional look? Let's see, Kayla, I see your hand.
It kind of would look a little childish, almost like a middle school presentation, like with different fonts, and just gets a little confusing as well.
Right.
And
Yeah.
shouldn't the slides also be like the same kind of color theme as well?
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up. That's the next thing I was gonna raise. You want to have the same colors in your PowerPoint as well. You don't want to have multiple colors. It just looks, I like what did you say, Kayla? It looks like something in middle school. Is that what you said?
Yeah, it just looks like a little childish. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's not professional. It looks like someone, I mean, it's cute, but it's not what how you want to present your brand for sure. Sikander, did you have a question or a comment?
I have a question about the screen share itself. We only see the drop down tab when you try to select the different fonts. Everything else is just frozen.
Oh, thanks for the heads up. Is that better, Sikander? Can you see that? Okay.
Yeah, we can see now.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that's a little confusing about screen sharing when you're opening multiple windows. I appreciate that. Maria?
I just wanted to comment on like the font type and theme. When you choose the fonts that are like not so elaborated or like have different designs, when you choose a font like it's like Arial or like those fonts are easy to read, it is better when you go on a presentation, because if you choose a font that is like the one that you have in the middle over there, it might be difficult for the person to read it. It might be difficult for the person to understand what you're trying to explain. And even if you make it bigger, it might still look difficult. So yeah.
I'm really glad you brought that up, Maria. You want to choose a text, easy to read. Imagine there's people in the back of the room looking at this, right? And if it's font that's not readable, or it's small, or whatever the case might be, it's just not good. A PowerPoint is not, it's not your notes for a talk. Okay, it's exactly what it is. It's a PowerPoint to help build on the points that you're making by teaching, by speaking. But you don't want to have too many words on the screen. You certainly don't want to have a font that's not readable. because that's just not helpful to anybody. So that's themes. So it's really important when you make a PowerPoint, you stay on theme. The next thing I was going to talk about is, gosh, it's going to be really hard to do with the share screen. Give me a second, guys. Sorry. Stop sharing. But I want to do animations. Does anybody know what an animation is in PowerPoint? When someone says that, what are they referencing? Who haven't we heard from yet? So everybody has their hand up. We've heard from. How about Jesus? What's an animation?
The transition of slides or even like words or images, you can put effects on them within the slides.
Yes, exactly. So you said two things there. We're going to cover both of them. The first one is transitions. Let me see if this works. Jesus, can you see like my screen here?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. So like I said, I'm totally aware that not everybody has the same capabilities that I do, but you hit transitions and you can decide how this new slide to appear. You see? Well, that was kind of cool how I brought the font. That was nice. That's what I would do. So look at that. It's fancy. So there's different ways you can do it. People sometimes ask me, like, should you try to stay consistent? Like, should the transitions all be the same? I mean, to be honest, I don't think anybody, really cares. As long as it's, there's some that are kind of like, I probably won't do that one. Fall over. Yeah, I probably would avoid that. But the rest of these, I mean, that one's kind of, yeah, definitely don't do that. Because you don't want people to like get distracted by your presentation. You just want it to be as, quick as possible. And that's a transition. And then what was also just said is animations. So if you wanted these graphics to kind of come in on their own, you add animation, and then now it fades in as opposed to just appearing. Once again, I would use these, in a smart way. I wouldn't get too carried away with them, but they are a nice feature to have. See, there you go. Just to, give yourself a little bit of time. So if you have a presentation and you're giving a talking point and you want to give yourself a few seconds to explain before the image appears, that's a nice way to do that. Other cool thing you can do here is you can make it longer. So if I have like a 10-second talking point I want to share before I want this to appear, I can go ahead and do it that way. Let's see how we can test it out. Watch this. Are you guys able to see the new screen or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. So there, I click. I'm talking about my topic for 10 seconds. And then they're waiting. And then if I did everything right, it should pop here in a few seconds. So that's opportunity to kind of mess around with animations. Like I said, I mean, they're totally doable. You can they work. They can be helpful, but they're not. I wouldn't obsess over them. They're not everything you should worry about. So I don't know why that wouldn't go. The very last thing I want to chat about when it comes to creating a really compelling PowerPoint is images. And I think some of you guys struggled a little bit with the ERG flyer because some of your images were not very crisp. They were not very clean. They looked a little bit like something you found like online, just copied and pasted it. So one website that I actually really like, and I use on my PowerPoint decks quite a bit, is the website pexels.com. Don't know if you guys are familiar with this one. Are you guys able to see my screen there?
Yeah.
So like, suppose I want, I don't know, rooftop night in my thing. Like, look at this. Like, look at all these nice photos. They're all free, and you can just go ahead and download them. But that looks a lot better than just like going on Google. Or suppose you want like a business meeting. See, like these are high quality, high definition photos that you can download at no cost, and it's a lot better than just Googling it or whatever. Yeah, Izzy, do you have a question or comment?
Yeah, just one question. Are animated backgrounds for presentations distracting as well?
That's an interesting question. I suppose it would be like the depth of the animation. and how long that would be up. Because here's the thing is PowerPoints are designed to supplement you facilitating or teaching or lecturing. They're not supposed to take away from, you know, what you see. That's a really interesting question, but it would depend, I suppose, on the nature of the animation and how long that slide was presented. I know one of the things that you guys did last night was the Steve Jobs keynote. Steve Jobs had a PowerPoint, right? But how did he utilize his PowerPoint in a way that was supplementing his talking points and not distracting from him as a speaker? What are some of the takeaways that you guys had on that? Yeah, Matthew.
One thing that I quickly noticed was on his presentation, there wasn't a lot of words, jumbled in there. It was just very short and concise, and then he elaborated on those points. And he also, with those points, he had images to go along with them as well.
Exactly. Like he didn't use his PowerPoint as like a crutch to talk off. He used it as a way to build on what he was saying. Yeah. Amir?
I think something when I saw during the presentation he was doing that was pretty cool is I think he had a remote, and each time he would cover it would be like one slide, right? But he'd cover a topic and then he'd show the image, and then he'd use the remote, and then he'd go to the next instead of having like a static time like you showed us we could do for the animations and things like that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He had that. But the good thing about that, you ever notice how he was very subtle with it? Even at that one point, like it didn't work and he kind of made a joke about it, but you could tell it was there, but it wasn't like front and center. Yeah, Kayla?
Another thing I noticed is that he repeated a lot of things, and it kind of like stuck out, like key points stuck, like he would repeat.
Yeah, absolutely. He didn't ramble. He was very succinct. This is what we're doing. And I think that's what made the presentation so attractive. Yeah, Davian?
He also had transitions, as you mentioned earlier. I felt like that's something that really captures the audience's attention.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you 100% there. And Jason?
One of the things that stuck out to me was he kept introducing a problem and a solution. So each problem he has would normally have a solution followed later.
Absolutely. You know what's actually really interesting about that style of speech is that if you look at Steve Jobs' keynote for the iPhone and look at Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech and overlay them with each other, it's almost the exact same style of communication. Problem, solution, problem, solution, problem, solution. And the I Have a Dream speech, in my opinion, is the most impactful speech ever given in our country. And it's pretty incredible. That was a very simple model. Here's the problem, here's the solution, going back and forth. So I can't know for certain because I don't know what went on in Steve Jobs' head, but I can imagine that as he was preparing for the iPhone release, he probably was studying great speeches and caught that from Dr. King and thought, oh, this is an idea. Yeah. Eli.
Yeah, I was gonna say he did a lot of comparisons to like other devices to show like why the iPhone is better than all of them.
Yeah, excellent. That was a very good marketing ploy, wasn't it? Because it showed like here's the competition, here's the enemy, but we're so much better because we have this, right? That was really clever. You ever notice those commercials where it's like spray for like cockroaches and it all shows the cockroaches like scheming together, little cartoon cockroaches, and it's like, shh, no. It's like the same idea, right? You have to have a clear enemy that you want to go after, and Steve Jobs did a good job. Like the BlackBerry is it's bulky, it's not comfortable. Like, why do you have these little tiny buttons? They're dumb. Like, let's change all of this. Excellent. And Claire?
I'm just gonna keep my camera off because I realize that when it's on and I speak, internet gets wonky. But to kind of add to what Eli said, I like that his comparisons, he wasn't bashing. He wasn't necessarily bashing. He was just like, okay, well, these are the current devices or previous devices, and this is introduce you to all of this plus more in a sleeker, easier way. So I like bashing.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, thank you. I mean, I thought he was bashing them, but then again, it's all up to interpretation. But anyone else? All right. We have about 10 minutes of class left. We have two options. Green check is option A, red X is option B. Green check is we do a quick 10-minute demo on how to create the deliverable for tonight. Red X is, no, let's just leave class early. All right, the people have spoken. All right, so here's the deliverables that are due. Your manager is facilitating a leadership workshop to people managers in your organization. He has completed his PowerPoint deck, but needs to create a lunchtime slide for the lunch break, which is 45 minutes long. He's about to hop on his flight to head to the training and ask you to email him the lunchtime slide on PowerPoint due tonight. Then also responded to discussion boards by tomorrow night. Real quick, I just want to say 2 or 3 housekeeping matters for the PowerPoint slide. You all saw Michael's work. That's the kind of work we're looking for. If you throw in a picture and do some text and it looks like you did it in 5 minutes, you're gonna get marked down for that because it's not. You want to make sure it's the best it can be. Secondly, and this is I think an important thing to bring up, is that you want to be careful about the food item you choose. All right. And what I mean by that is that I've worked in leadership development and did workshops all over the North America for 4+ years. And people get offended over very interesting things. So like if you put, I don't know, a plate full of like pork chops, people might get offended by that. If you put, a cheeseburger, people might get offended by that. So I would encourage you, if you haven't already done it, like choose a salad, choose, crackers and hummus, choose fresh fruit, just choose something that's like very neutral that most people would probably eat. I'm just saying that from experience because I've had it happen where people would put an image of a food item that people just took offense at. So just when you're making it, think, okay, like I want to be considerate of all cultures, of all people groups, and what is something that I want to can display that's appropriate. I did this deliverable in the last class, and I just chose a leafy green salad and green text that said lunchtime, and just left it at that. So, yep. You're not gonna be marked down if you already submitted it and you put a cheeseburger, just so you know. But just want you to be aware that it's something to think about. Yeah, Jason.
Yeah, for mine, I put like a little tropical area just to avoid that.
Yeah, smart idea, Jason. Just keep it neutral. All right. Any other questions? Yeah, Kayla.
So I didn't put like a picture of a food. I put like a picture that said like lunchtime with like a fork and a knife. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Totally fine.
Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions? And Claire says if people want to stay back and watch it be done, we can do that. I got 10 more minutes. I can do that. Sabrina?
Can you quickly show an example again of a good one?
Yeah, I can show that here in a minute. We're gonna let people go who want to go, and then who want to stay back and see an example. I can display that here. So have a good day for those who want to go, and see you tomorrow. And those who want to stay back.
Have a good day. All tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Good to have it.
Tomorrow.
See you guys.
Care.
Anton?
What was the website that you showed us to get the pictures from again?
Excels.com. I just put it in the chat.
All right, thank you. That's what I wanted.
You're welcome. Yep, you got it. All right, so for those of you who are staying to watch really quickly in the next 5 minutes. Hold on. I'm sorry, I don't know who's talking because I'm sharing my screen. Who is this? Okay. So if I was doing this deliverable, I would hit new. I have these templates, maybe you don't. Here's one already. So what am I looking for this deliverable? Can you guys see the screen with the orange?
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm looking for talked about making it bold, making it readable, staying with consistent, fonts and themes. Make it a little bit wider. So if you submitted this to me, a food item, lunch break, be back in 45 minutes, this would earn you an A. All right. Any questions on what I'm looking for here? Consistent.
I have a question.
Yep, go ahead.
So you just said if we submit it like that, we're gonna get an A. So we don't have to put a date and time like that.
No, all you're saying is that the lunch break is 45 minutes long.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Izzy?
Yeah. So when it comes to using a different picture, right? So like per se, you want to import a picture from Pixel. Is it going to also be the same size as a PowerPoint structure?
Yeah, you can do it either way. I would do it kind of how this one is, where it's like the photo on the side. And then, because I just find if you this and overlaid it, oh, it's actually, let me. Where is it? Basically, it wouldn't look good if I tried to overlay it. Move to the back. Set it backwards one more time. But yeah, I would just put it to the side just to make life a little bit easier. Looking for something that's readable, that I can look at, like, okay, I very clearly know what's happening here. We're having a lunch break. I'm gonna go eat, and that be that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you.
Yep. I don't know why this is there we go. See, like that's kind of hard to read. Like what does that say? I don't really get that. It's easier just to keep it simple. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, good question. Excellent question. Zanar?
Yes. So we're only making one slide.
One slide. Yep, that's it.
Okay.
Sabrina?
So I kind of missed the 45 minutes part and I put like 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. instead. Can I resubmit or do you think it's okay?
No, it's okay. It's fine.
All right, thank you.
I'm really just looking to make sure that we can like read it and we know what's going on.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Audrey?
This has nothing to do with this deliverable, but with the other one, with the flyer.
Okay.
It's just that I went back to look at my grade, and I saw I went to look for like how the picture looked. Like I just wanted to see it again, but I saw that it didn't come out. Like when I submitted it, it didn't come out as like how I did it.
Yeah, that sometimes happens in Schoology. So what would happen is I would look at it and I could tell it clearly got reformatted. I would download it on my computer and then look at it on my computer, and then it would look fine. That happened to quite a few people.
Oh, so you could see everything?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I just
Yeah, because sometimes with Schoology it gets messed up. It gets reformatted. So there was probably about 10 or 15 people in the class who, like, I know they didn't submit what I saw. So just press download, and I saw the actual original document, and it was fine.
Okay, great.
Yep. Any other questions, guys? All right. Well, enjoy your afternoon, and see y'all tomorrow. Yeah, did you have another question?
Yeah, Eric, this is towards the ERG flyer. I actually when you were talking about the grade, I went back and tried to look at my grade, but I didn't know that I gave in the wrong file, and I resubmitted it, and I also sent you an email, and I was wondering if you could give me a second chance. Like I really didn't know, because on my end I thought that I submitted the ERG flyer.
Right. Yeah, not a problem at all. I'll go back in Schoology and look and adjust your grade.
Thank you so much.
Yep, you're welcome.
Eric, I wanted to ask, I had emailed a bunch of the teachers and staff during the 2 days